Should they wish to, they can start moving up. All right. What an absolutely riveting start to Social Business Day 2023, Day 2. I'm sure none of us, would have expected anything better, but by the presence of two absolutely brilliant thought leaders of our generation, I believe we are very fortunate to have found both of them in the same room speaking. We now move over to and I believe we would only be able to do justice to the opening session if we were able to then follow it up with an absolutely brilliant plenary, which is titled How to Expand Institutions That Support People-Centered Social Businesses and New Economics. This session aims to explore innovative world of people-centered social businesses, new economic paradigms, and exploring the crucial role institutions play in nurturing and expanding transformative models. Our moderator for this session is our friend and colleague Suresh Krishna, co-founder, managing director, and CEO, Unis Social Business Fund, Bengaluru. Suresh is a passionate advocate for social business with an extensive experience for more than 2 decades working with poor and low-income populations. Suresh has been instrumental in building and scaling impact-focused businesses. Our esteemed panel of speakers include Ms. Andrea Jung, who's joining us via Zoom. She's the president and CEO of Grameen America. If you could please start bringing up Andrea online. We've also got with us one of the legends of our Grameen family, Ms. Nurjahan Begum, who's the advisor to Chairman Yunus Center and Executive Vice Chairman of Grameen Shikha. And then we've got one of our most special friends who's been very critical to the entire microcredit movement over the last 20 to 30 years. And we extend our deepest gratitude to him for traveling from such a far distance to be with us. Sam Daly Harris, founder and principal, Civic Courage, a project of Results Educational Fund. And I'll go out of my way if we can please give Sam a huge round of applause. I cannot emphasize what Sam means to us in the movement. Next, we've got Dato Shahir Ahmed Bazari, trustee and managing director of Yasan Hassan, founder of Mayor Group. We've got Raymond Serious, head of strategic projects department, Negros Women for Tomorrow's Foundation, one of the earliest replications of the microcredit model in the Philippines. We've also got our colleague Shazib M. Khairul Islam, managing director of YY Ventures, CEO of 3Z Global Center, and trustee of Grameen Trust. And of course, we've got Mr. Gaur. Without further speaker, thank you very much.
And thank you, Professor. And I'm sure all the audience will agree with me. We had such a powerful, inspirational session to start with today. It was so inspiring. Can't have words to describe how well it was. So without other delay, I think I just decide. I think then I let the panel speak. Social businesses have been instrumental in creating a more inclusive, equitable, and sustainable society. They demonstrate the economic activities can be harnessed as a powerful tool for positive social transformation, paving way to more responsible and purpose-driven business landscape. Unfortunately, existing regulatory barriers are big hints to their progress. I think in this session, we will try to address the urgent need to imagine and expand our innovative approaches that can foster the growth for people-centric social businesses. I think without much delay, I think because my panel is already introduced, so probably I will not redo that and let my panelists actually speak. We have such a distinguished panel here, and it's a large panel with a lot of experience of over decades and so much of work they all have done. So without much delay, can I call upon Sam to actually deliver his address first?
Okay, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, good. Good morning to everyone. Social business asks us to think in new ways, to be in new ways, to act in new ways. I've been asked how citizens imagine their role and realign the incentives of political actors to build people-centered. Let me offer 4 ideas. Number 1, we must know and share our why. Why do we do this work? Here's a short version of my why. The death of a friend at the time of high school graduation and the assassination of US Senator Robert Kennedy at the time of my college graduation got me to asking the questions of purpose. Why am I here to do? What is my purpose? Hearing experts call for the political will to end world hunger, then asking 7,000 high school students the name of their member of parliament, and finding out that fewer could answer correctly showed me what was needed. That's a short version of knowing and sharing my why, and led me to founding the Anti-Poverty Lobby Results. Number 2, we must follow these words of future and inventor Buckminster Fuller, who said, the things to do are the things that need doing, that you see need to be done, and that no one else seems to see needs to be done. Let me repeat that. He said, the things to do are the things that need doing, that you see need to be done, and that no one else seems to see needs to be done. That is why you are here. 3, just as we need a different kind of business, social business, we need a different kind of advocacy, transformational advocacy. What we mostly know as transactional advocacy. Sign the petition, transaction complete. But with transformational advocacy, volunteers are trained, encouraged, and then succeed at doing things as advocates they never thought they could do, and as a result, see themselves in a new light. They see themselves as community leaders. That is a description of transformational advocacy. And 4th, and finally, we need to provide a powerful structure of support for people to grow in their effectiveness as citizens. That includes forming citizens into chapters or groups, providing a national conference call or webinar each month that's inspiring, providing training so people can gain new skills, and encouraging them to move out of their comfort zone to where the magic happens. We need powerful structures of support. And here's what that can add up to, and I'll conclude with this. In 1986 and 1987, Results volunteers in the US generated 100 editorials in newspapers across the country and got hundreds of members of Congress to co-sponsor legislation on a little-known intervention then called microenterprise, and then microcredit, and then microfinance. Those volunteer actions in 1986 and 87, generating 100 editorials and the support of hundreds of members of Congress, and a CBS TV 60-minute segment that came out of it, helped put Grameen Bank and Muhammad Yunus on the map. And that advocacy campaign helped us get here today. And so that was generated by volunteers who knew their why, who were engaged in transformational advocacy, who were encouraged to move out of their comfort zones, and who were offered a powerful structure of support. Our world needs transformational advocacy, and I'll discuss all of this in my book due out in January 2024, Reclaiming Our Democracy.
Thank you, Sam. Request Andrea, who is online with us. It's a very odd time for her, but thanks, Andrea, for joining us, and it's your time now.
Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh, hello to all my friends in Malaysia. I wish I could be there with you, but it's wonderful to join. It's late at night here in New York, but nice to be with you. Just wanted to give you a little bit of context about what has happening, in the United States, and really how Green America is playing a very, very important role as access loan capital and the pathway to financial inclusion and the pathway out of poverty right here in the United States. We are now in our 15th year at Green America. The entity and the organization was started in 2008 in the last crisis, which was a very big crisis for the global economy in 2008 and 2009. And it was at that time that the team here, along with Professor Yunus, really believed that, as in all of the Green programs, this is exactly when during the world and the United States needed the program the most. So the organization began and is today the fastest growing, largest microfinance organization in the United States. We have served almost 180,000 women entrepreneurs in 25 cities. We have 36 locations as of today. The organization's given out over $3.3 billion of loan. It took 10 years for Green America to become a social business and give out the first $1 billion. And it took 2.5 years to give out the second billion. And this year alone, we'll give out over $1 billion in 2023. And over the next 10 years, by the end of the decade, we will be giving out $3 billion of capital and touch nearly 600,000 US women entrepreneurs in low-income communities, helping them with the not afforded to them in any traditional financial institution here in the US. The large banks seem more strict in terms of their lending parameters. They are not designed to give out small loans to low-income women. And this is where Green America comes in and plays that very important role. We've given out nearly 1 million loans to date. Very much like many of the Green replica programs around the world, we're very proud of the repayment rate. The women that we have trusted and trust us have repaid at 99.8% in the United States, even through the pandemic. We pivoted to a virtual model. We use Zoom meetings where we have 2,900 center meetings going on every single week. And the attendance is well over 92% of all of our members. And they are thrilled with the invention, if you would, of virtual gatherings. It makes a tremendous amount of sense for them. Their repayments have not suffered, and they enjoy getting to meet their colleagues in person every month, as well as on the Zoom calls for their weekly centers. So we've reinvented the model. We've pivoted to virtual, and that's really enabled us to, with technology, transform the business model to be able to adapt post-COVID-19. We are in the process of doing a very exciting long-range plan at the organization as a social business now, where we are 130% sustainable as an organization. We're able to raise more capital, and we are able to fund it. We hope and up to really $30 billion of loan capital to women in the United States by 2032, and reach over 600,000 women entrepreneurs and double the number of cities that we're in. So it's an exciting time. We've got a lot of exciting celebrities that have joined on with us. Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, who all really believe in economic empowerment and the social business model that only Green America has achieved in the US.
Great. Thank you very much, Rio, for that piece. I think if you're going to stay on, maybe we'll come with another question towards the end. Now, can I call upon Raymond, who is from Nick Morrow? Can you make your presentation?
Mike. Yeah. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Professor Yunus. On the question of how you expand people-centered social businesses, I guess drawing from the experience of Negros Women for Tomorrow Foundation, same thing as Sam was saying, it's really knowing and sticking to your true north. the real intention of why we started the organization, why the founders started the organization, and why we continue on with it. And that is to help the poor and make sure that they are able to help themselves improve their lives and that of their families. Of course, that is very difficult. I mean, that is very easy to say, but very difficult to do because you come up with so many things. Regulation, for one. In the Philippines, a lot of calamities and the like. But then once you stick to the true north, once you understand and you contextualize, localize uh, the principles of Grameen, which we have stuck to for the longest time, this is why generally microfinance as an industry is thriving in the Philippines. We've always stuck to that. We've always stuck to entrepreneurship as the main pathway within the microcredit program to move out of poverty. And now, as we move on to the next chapter of Negros Women and Dunganon, well, we're celebrating our 40th year next year, thanks to Professor Yunus, and our founders are still there. Uh, uh, we're moving on with expanding our reach, not only through microcredit, but also working in the communities, making sure that they are sustainable. Really spreading sustainability within these communities, particularly on the environment and and social sustainability. So what we want to do is that communities, the people in those communities actually are empowered to help themselves to solve the issues that they see within them, and that is still sticking to the true north, which is making sure that they're able to help themselves and that of their families. I think that's really the main formula here, which makes everybody successful.
Thank you, Raymond. Can I now call upon Shahira?
Thank you. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Hear me? So thank you very much for giving me a chance to share on a topic that I am quite passionate about on strategic philanthropy, which is really around accelerating and scaling our impact through collaboration and innovative partnerships, which is something that saw us getting into very deeply actually during the pandemic. And through various partnership models, we quadrupled our giving in between 2020 to 2022 to 1.4 billion ringgit. Worked with more than 50% more partners. So we also kind of doubled our collaboration with civil society organizations and social enterprises, and were able to reach 66% more people in need during this time. And it was only possible capital, and how did we enable those partnerships and collaboration? Just a little bit maybe about Yayasan Hasana. We are the foundation of Khazanah Nasional, which is the sovereign fund of Malaysia. And we were relatively young. We were incorporated in July 2015, and we're largely a maker. But as a national social impact organization, I always say we go beyond dollars and cents, and actually work very closely with our partner organizations in building capacities and mutual collaborations. Hasana, as you know, means doing good, which is a word I am made to understand means the same thing in multiple languages, and so too in Bahasa Malaysia, and we continue to this as a national social impact organization in the country. So I just wanted to reflect on the question that was posed on trust, and how do we enable meaningful partnership and collaboration. We all know, I think we all know that the trust capital doesn't come to you on a silver platter, regardless of who you are, you know, big organizations, small organizations, leaders. You know, it needs to be something that we work on. So some of my reflections as a philanthropic organization in the country, I think I have 7 learnings. I'll try to go through it very quickly. The first one was really around having a very robust governance and accountability system in place, robust monitoring and evaluation processes that actually enabled multiple funding to flow through our organization, because we already have those systems in place. We're able to accountability to the partnership. So having more funding, you need to look back at office and make sure that you do have a decent, not very high end, but a decent accountability system in terms of your own management of funds and organization. I think the second thing is really around authentic and deep grassroots experience and understanding. So as a grant maker, we always make sure to have the pulse on the ground. We do go visit and spend a lot of time with our partners to understand what's going on. Just going back, we invest in education, environmental issues and sustainability, and also arts and cultural heritage. So the sort of legitimacy to do work on the ground. So to drive your true understanding, you need to spend a lot of time on the ground and also understand. So I think deep grassroots understanding was very important. The third learning was really around being an agile organization, because we were given this task during the pandemic in the lockdown. Nobody knew what to do, and because of the agility of the organization and the quality of the human resource or capital, human talent in the organization, we were able to kind of turn around a lot of things in very uncertain and environment. And finally, what I'd say is, in collaboration and partnership, there will be a lot of ups and downs. And I think what has really been very helpful for us is to stay true to the mission, and sometimes get too distracted with sort of egos and logos and all of these things that comes in play during a partnership. And what has been very helpful for us is we really put the mission at the center of everything, and everything else falls in place in support of the mission and why are we doing this partnership and collaboration. So that's some learnings. Hope that was useful.
Thank you very much, Hiram. Victor? Victor has a presentation. Can somebody put it on, please?
Hi, everyone. I'll start with that. It looks very complex, but this is basically how payments work today, right? It's very complex. It has a lot of intermediaries. And what we want to achieve, right, as humans, is actually to transfer value one to another. And this is what is happening today. And you many know that there are huge inefficiencies in the whole process. So you can ask, you don't have to use the banks, you can just use cash. Cash actually is not a great solution either, because it creates a lot of deficiencies and huge negative economic impact, right? About 100 billion of leakage public spending, about 400 billion of direct costs of financial institutions, and about 25 billion hours of additional labor costs just with counting, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Right? So the question is, what could be the alternative? The alternative is to have a P2P payment network, right, where people can transact direct with each other, but in a different manner. And this is where I come from the technology space. This is what blockchain basically enables, right? It enables a P2P electronic cash system where we can transact, where we can transfer value from one to another direct without any intermediaries. So the question is, why? Why should we do this? Because right now we live in a world where a lot of people are actually excluded from transferring value to each other, if not cash. A lot of you know the number of 2.5 or 3 billion unbanked, but there are even more underbanked. So people who have a bank account, but maybe not able to purchase internationally, et cetera, et cetera. And this number goes more or less to 4 or 5 billion, because you may know that half of the world population makes less than $5 a day. So basically, a lot of them are not really served by traditional financial institutions. One of the reasons for that is because there is no way how those banks and financial institutions can make money with those population. And of course, I think everyone deserves the right to transfer value directly without borders, without limitations, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously, you know, the kids of tomorrow will transact differently, will transact digitally. So speaking about numbers, if we speak about digitizing cash, right, those are the rough estimates of economic impact, what it will bring if people around the world would have a digital form of payment, right? So we speak about 3 trillion and about 10% GDP, additional GDP in this. And one of the reasons why is, if you think about it, great, but cash is always very direct. So that's it. If you think about inefficiencies, then me as a farmer have to go to the market to meet my consumer so we can exchange value, right? And it's a courier, et cetera, right? So we're able to transact. It's not only that. If I only have cash as a method of payments, I also cannot purchase internationally and cannot sell internationally, right? So I may be, me as a consumer from Europe, may want to purchase directly from a farmer in an emerging country, right? But I have no way how I can transfer monetary value to him. So this is like all the rationale behind that. And yesterday in the European Country Forum, we had an idea that we may look at a blockchain-based system, a value system, and that's why I said, okay, one of the benefits of being an entrepreneur is that you can act very fast. So we created something overnight. Literally, we was QR code to people, and only that the social, which basically allows you to transact with each other on the blockchain. What is this token of a nature? It's in bank. About years ago, first time at Professor Yu. And I can still remember every word of this conversation. So thank you very much for being here, and I'm happy to stay in touch. Something that we initiated yesterday is not with a sort of connect to a Telegram. Let's continue building this out. Let's continue currency or one or another.
Thank you, Victor. That was fabulous. So, yeah. Oh, no. Your presentation is coming up. This presentation is don't have. Okay, yeah, it's up there. Thanks, Ajib.
Dear Professor Yunus and the guests, I'm Gao Zhan from Guarmi, China. Visited my hometown, local villager, and my mother, and the villagers greeted you. I am honored my mother and the women in the village are on the cover of your book Super Happiness. She was super happy. Before Langkawi, I visited Bangladesh with a delegation of 30 people. They come from banks, social business, art sectors, and high school in China. After 4 years, we went to visit a Grameen Bank. We visited the zonal office, area office, and the branch office, and joined the center meetings, talked with the 5-member group, and saw the smiling face but also a tool to connect poor people and empower them get rid of poverty. We are at the head office of Grameen Bank. We watched the Nobel Prize Museum, visit the training center. In the international department, Professor Shafu Majid, chairman of Grameen Bank, and Marshall Wooding, MD of Grameen Bank, talked with us. They told us Grameen Bank's achievements in the past 40 years. It is Professor Muhammad Yunus that led them to create the Grameen model. Finally, let me end my speech with a sentence from Professor Yunus at the Nobel Prize ceremonies in Oslo. Let us join hands to give every human being a fair chance to analyze their energy and creative.
Now I request Poojan Madam to actually, we've been waiting, she's patiently waiting to with you. Can we have her presentations?
Good morning, everyone. By economy, new economy, I mean an environmentally responsible, socially accountable, economically equitable, and politically inclusive system of production and distribution. It is an environment friendly, people friendly, especially women friendly, with love, care, share in the center. As opposed to personal profit, its motivation is humanity, fraternity, and mutual responsibility. It is opposed to personal greed and works to ensure the 3-0, zero net carbon emission, zero wealth concentration, to eliminate poverty, and zero unemployment by turning every human being as an entrepreneur. It is opposed to all kind of social, economic, and political conflict. GB is the perfect example of this economy. Next. The experience of Grameen Bank is classic in the history of banking and finance. Environment and security are two major issues in Grameen Social Charter called 16th edition. How Grameen Bank start? Grameen Bank start with only $27, which was Dr. Yunus' pocket money. He gave this amount to 40 people to do their income activities, income generating activities, but put a condition that they have to pay 100%, and they paid 100%. Then he wants to commercial bank to give loan to the poor people, but as it is, they denied that poor are not creditworthy. So Dr. Yunus himself became the grantor of the loan, and he started to give the loan. So we start in Jobra, one village, then from Jobra to several villages, several districts, and now in whole Bangladesh. Now we have, next slide. Now Grameen Bank have more than 2,600 branches. Grameen Bank has a loan outstanding of more than 1.52 billion US dollar, and the bank lends more than $100 million a month. The bank has more than 10 million borrowers. Out of them, 97% are women, and repayment rate is 98%, more than 98%. But what about the savings? Grameen Bank started his savings product after we started Grameen project. Within 16 months, Dr. Yunus asked his colleague to try to find out, to try to motivate people to for the savings. So it was only 1/4 of 1 taka, saves some few pennies. But it was not very easy to motivate them to provide, save the money. But he gave us some trick, how to manage them, how to motivate them, and we start to motivate them, and they start to savings. Now today, GB borrowers started their savings with 25. Now today's GB's collective savings amount to more than 1.52 billion, which is more than their loan amount. Next. I think I should say that Grameen Bank is not only financial institute, it is a humanitarian institute. One thing I should tell you that in 1984, we start to give housing loan. Many people, people doesn't have their house, they are homeless. So Dr. Yunus start to give housing loan, but he put some condition that if anybody wants to housing loan, the land must be in the name of the person. So in Bangladesh during that time, normally asset owner is the man, not women. So now when women ask for housing loan, husband has to transfer a piece of land in the name of the wife, or she has to buy a piece of land for her own through our loan. Now she built her house, and during that time, the divorce rate was very, very high. Men can have more than 1, 2, 3, 4 wives. He can abandon wife without. For the husband to divorce, if he divorces his wife, he has to go out. So many research have been done about Grameen, and all of them shows that the divorce rate highly lower than before. So how you see how Dr. Yunus transform one loan to empower the women. This housing not only gives them a safe place to sleep or reading place for their children, but give them dignity of life and security of the life. Then I would say another issue about the mobile phone. Dr. Yunus always mentioned that technology can bring much more benefit for the poor people if we can use technology properly. So in 1997, he started to give a mobile phone to the poor village women of Grameen Bank borrower. And during that time, a mobile phone is a dream. A land phone, most of the place, there is no land phone. And those only who were very, very richer people, they can have a mobile phone. And the cost of the mobile phone may be 100,000 taka, more than 100,000 taka. So what we have done, Dr. Yunus created a company, Grameen Telecom, and Grameen Telecom and Grameen Telenor, a company from the Norway, they make the Grameen Phone company. And now today, the Grameen Phone is the largest mobile company in Bangladesh. And these women, we provide credit from Grameen Bank to these poor people, poor women especially, and they sell the service like a milk cow. If you sell milk, you can get money. They sell the service, they get the money. And through this mobile phone, they became the phone lady, very prestigious woman in the society. Before, nobody come them, but now everybody, richer people call her, give her chair to sit, and very respect her in this way. So through 16 decisions, through all our social agenda, we make the bank as a humanitarian bank. Then in 2013, we use another program, doctors bring another program. This is a social investment fund. So it is main objective, motto is, we are not job seekers, we are job givers. So how to transform young entrepreneur. So we start to, 2013, we gave only one guy with 50,000 taka. Now today, the program has a total of 140,000 entrepreneurs with a cumulative equity investment of 164 million USD. How it grows? Josna, she's attended a design lab in 2015 and received an equity of 60,000 taka from Social Business Fund. Repaid it and received another equity, Bangladeshi taka 120,000 from Social Business Fund. Also started selling cloth, and she used her beauty parlor for selling cloth and also cosmetics, 3 business at a time. Current equity from SBF fund is 5 lakh taka. During net income, about 4,000 taka. He has trained 40 young women in the business. 20 of them now have their own beauty parlor. Next. Next. So I'm not going to salam about this of the time constraint. Now I am just going to finish with the Grameen Calorian Nursing College. We start Grameen Calorian Nursing College in 2009. Nursing is not a very prestigious job in Bangladesh during that time. So it was very difficult for Nehru and Barbara Perfect, principal of Grameen, to of the nursing college, to people to give their student admit in the college. So now today, we have our own building, and initially we introduced only 39 girls for diploma nursing. Now today, BSc nursing, MSc, midwifery, many courses we involve. And we have our new building. It is 7-store building. Next, 7 building, and you can see, and accommodation of 1,000. Right now we have near about 600 nurses student in our campus, and you see how from small things to we grew up. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Shajib, you have got you. Yeah.
All right, thank you so much. What an honor to be part of this this panel. So the question that I was given is to really talk about what kind of support young entrepreneurs today in Bangladesh needs. Before doing so, like yesterday, I was also here on stage, and then I wear multiple hats. Today, I'm wearing my YY Ventures hat. I'm a founder and managing director at YY Ventures. It's Bangladesh's first social business incubator. We support social businesses, but our business. But I really wanted to, before I answer your question, Suresh, I really wanted to share why we created YY Ventures. It was never my plan. I was just setting up an office to build an education social business, which failed terribly in 2016. Also in a panel, Global Social Business Summit in Berlin that Nurjahan Appa moderated. And after I spoke, some people actually came to me and they said, "Oh, it sounds like an incubator." I said, "What is an incubator? I never heard this term." And I never heard terms like co-working space and things. These are things that we really do not knew in Dhaka. But then what the funny thing is, so my office had like a glass wall and it was transparent and of open office, and random people would just show up and say, "Can we rent a desk?" And that's how we really got started. And in the last 7 years, we were able to support 73 companies. Most of them have failed, but there are 14 that are up and running. They've created 1,800, and there is one that is now 100 million USD in terms of its value. And they're raising lots of capital now. But this is also one of those businesses that I was trying to promote and support. They're called Obhijatrik Tourism Limited. Nobody really wanted to put their money. So I put my first savings into it. Works. Now there are lots of companies who applies to our programs. I think in a year we run about 3 to 4 incubation programs. And these days, not just in Bangladesh, but also in East Africa and also in Central African Republic. So we want to give them a sense of community, office space, programming, and a little bit of funding. The other thing is, since I also have a lot of Bangladeshi friends, I really want to say this in Bengali. Every time a young person of my age really wants to start a business, the community, the family, the society, the teachers, even friends says, "Tomake diye eta hobe na." It means you cannot do it. So I really want to tell them, if you really want to start a business, to me, the first thing that you really have to do is ask for help. If you ask for help to go, maybe he will help you. If he doesn't do it, maybe Sam will help you. One person will really help you. And finally, also to sum up, the other kinds of support that really entrepreneurs needs, other than this sense of community support, is fine. It's a big missing middle. But it was between 10,000 to $75,000 in Bangladesh for social businesses. And we really suffered badly for this for the last 4 or 5 years. I spoke to most of the foundations, organizations who do it, and everyone. But then we became good friends with the Dutch government, and we created an access to finance program through which we are able to support 120 companies. We are able to give them 25,000 euros in funding. Finally, the other thing that they really need is talent, right? So entrepreneurs really need to create within the company. If you do customers, your beneficiaries, or your who really builds it, you cannot really
Have how much time we have? Can I get? Do we have 5 minutes more?
yeah, maybe 2-3.
Yes. Yeah.
Still want to proceed?
Um, is we will ask to give their last thoughts for 30 seconds each. So that way
Yeah.
we Andrea, because she's up there. I mean, it's quite late for her. And you have 30 seconds.
I mean, I think it's an imperative to foster inclusive I think the traditional system and the formal markets are that happen, and it's upon all of us to really understand our role and the responsibility to demonstrate as of us have breaking the system, changing the mold, turning the model on its head, proving that social business can in fact be the unleasher of a very different world that we all deserve to live in. And so we're just trying to here in the United States, you know, the richest country, if you would, in the world, but with the most income rate. But I think solutions right here in this.
Thank you.
Well, as you know, my focus is action and political will. So I'll leave this by Apollo astronaut Rusty Schweizer said, "We aren't passengers on spaceship Earth. We residents on this planet. We're citizens." Thank you for all your work.
Thank you very much.
For me, I think one of the most important that we need to be doing in the future is really multiplying the number of social businesses that we have. Because what we notice these days, regular entrepreneurs are already looking for an exit and sell their company. But social business entrepreneurs always stay and make sure their companies are set out.
Thank you. Victor?
Something that is us is be open, be fast, right? So this is called Find Me Later tonight, maybe during the evening. And, let's build something, right? Yeah, that's it.
Thank you.
Let's build it.
Shahira, go to you.
Thank you. I think from where I sit, I think the work that we're doing is complex. It's long term. What I would say is don't let perfection be the enemy of good, and really stay the course in terms of what we believe is the right thing to do for a more peaceful future. And I think that's what we all in this room are bound by. And I think stay the course. Like I said, don't let perfection be the enemy of good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, for me, I think we don't have sufficient time. During pandemic COVID-19, many people was dying because like, and in other hand, we saw big multinational companies they are flooded by profit. So I the right to this person.
Mr. Gao, you want to? No. Mr. Ajib,
He
first you.
doesn't have last word. Do I get more time?
No, you just get
Can I
ready.
have words? So, and then I have also been it's like we really get scared if I what would they tell me, they tell that Shazib has really failed. I think as entrepreneurs, if we really want to build social businesses, that would make sense. We also have to accept failure. We can discuss this with our friends, boards, and colleagues. The second thing that I really wanted to share, it's again about the entrepreneurs or funding, because every time they want to start a new company, they say, where do I get this money from? And I myself also do it. But what I've really learned is the best way to fundraise is not from banks, not from venture capitals. It's best to fundraise from your customers. If you have a product or service that makes sense, people are willing to pay for it, then you can definitely build a business around it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sajib, and thank you, everyone. I think there was wonderful messages. I'm sorry to my panelists that I couldn't give you more time because we have just shortage of time. I think some great, wonderful messages came up. Social businesses can unleash the power to change. That's the big message. And for that, we need to look at transformational advocacy. What is important, we need to do transformational advocacy. That was message from Sam. Uh, so we develop the trust to build. So we need to work towards our mission, and then the trust will start building up. One other point which also came up was have change coming up because women empower, the whole family get empowered, or family will start looking at change to this. So we have various difficult challenges up there, but it's important to start. And perfection is should not become the end good. So doing good, most important thing. Let's start making. These were some highlight messages. Thank you. I'm sorry if we take a little longer time. It was. Thank you all the panelists. Thank you, Andrea, for staying up so late and still joining us. Thanks, Sam, and thanks everyone.
Thank you very much.
very
Thank you.
much.
Line is we've got you off screen, and we'd really like you to stay on and share that moment. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, a huge round of applause for all our panelists. If you could request all the speakers to line up. Right, perfect. Andrea, you're in the photo as well, so thank you very much for your contribution to the session. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you. Thank you, Andrea.
Hi, everyone.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you would allow us just a couple of seconds to make the stage transition, but in any case, I would now like to invite you all to join our next session, which is Glimpses of Social Business Education, Insights, Initiatives, and Inspiration. We basically focus our attention now to a unique blend of social businesses, which span across many spheres. In this session, we'll be exploring the power of social business through inspiring presentations by some remarkable entrepreneurs and transformative social enterprises. We'll get to witness firsthand how social business influences education and many other aspects of our ecosystem that we live in. And for this, I'm thrilled to announce if Nurfarini is still here, our moderator for this session, Nurfarini Diang. Nurfarini is the CEO of Youth Trust Foundation in Malaysia, a pioneer in empowering youth to create positive social impact with her vast experience in startup training, coaching, and a true love for play and fun. She's sure to bring an engaging and interactive approach to our session today. Nini has always been a legend. Nini, this is a timed session once again. Over to you. Thank you for being a legend.
Mention fun, right? I'd like to take 1 minute for us to stretch ourselves a little bit. Can we look to your right and say hello, friend? Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Turn to the left now. The person on the left is feeling a little. Turn to the left and say, you're awesome. All right, some of you are not convinced. Okay, are we ready to start? Because I've got them quite a mission that's quite impossible because I've got notable speakers who only have 5 minutes each to speak. I hope that it will become a catalyst to, as with any, it's really not about, it is also about dialogue, but a lot of it has got to do with taking action. Agreed? Okay, so I'd like to call upon all the our distinguished speakers first. If you can actually join me upstairs so we reduce the time taken to come up. If I can, I hope I pronounce this correctly. Hirake, is he? Oh, sorry, yes. Thank you. All our other speakers is Monica Yunus. Oh, she's off. Okay. I've lost the speaker. Mr. Biswaji Ghosh. Mr. Dominic Dowster. Mr. Dom. Mr. Alex Counts. Dr. Saleh Mubarak. And Mr. Jose Alexander. Looks like I'm the only rose among the thorns. Hello. Hello, everyone. I'd like to, again, chronologically invite the first speaker to I'll give you 5 minutes, and then after which perhaps any one of you can also either interject or provide some feedback. Hiro-san.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Hirao. Today, I'd like to introduce our Japan Auto Mechanics School. Our Japan Auto Mechanics with initial capital of 100 million taka. Shareholder, Global and SK Dream Japan, which is a non-profit organization in Japan. Our chairman is Professor Yunes. We have 1-year course that trains talented youth from disadvantaged family background. All of our students are from very poor family with warm heart and strong passions. We teach Japanese auto mechanic skills and Japanese language skills. I showed us some photos. Our school our classroom training, electrical training, practical training. There are two Japanese teachers. One is auto mechanic and the other is Japanese language. We also have some local teachers. After the students pass the final exam of the auto mechanic and the Japanese language exam, level N4, they graduate, will go to Japan. They participate in the technical internship training program. They get both jobs in Japan and the Japanese advanced auto mechanic skills. Then we use TITP program, which is agreed by the Bangladesh and the Japan government. TITP is a good program. Our graduates have to make a 3 agreement with those parties. One is a sending agent in Bangladesh, and one is a receiving agent in Japan, and then finally Japanese employers. However, we have a headache here. No, those guys, some of those guys, try to make money by taking illegal high commission from our graduates. Therefore, I carefully, select the agent. So far, I find, one good, sending agent in Bangladesh, and one good receiving agent in Japan. I saw, so many bad agents, both Bangladesh and Japan. And even the, Japanese employers, some employers, treat, our, graduates as a cheap laborers, which is no good. So I carefully, select the employers. Okay, TITP brings the graduate 3 years internship program. 3 years internship period. After 3 years, possible to switch skilled workers, then can work another 5 years. Monthly salary, 1,000 US dollar. It was 1,500 US dollar per month, but due to the strong Japanese yen, now it is 1,000 only. Okay, and then the graduate repay the school tuition from their Japanese salary by 36 months installment payments. 1 month they pay the 200 US dollars. They receive 1,000 and they pay 200, 20% payment ratio. The school tuition, which is paid by the graduates, covers 50% of our school operating cost. It means we are not in the position, still we are not in the position of the break even. If you have a good idea, please let me know. Okay, again, I showed some pictures. Who is working in Japan? They are our graduates. Okay, the company provides an apartment to them very nicely. Yeah, this kind of things. They enjoy the life really. Achievement and next steps. Achievement is we have trained over 70 talented youth and created a path for them to come to Japan. Then the next step is enhance intake student number, and also we want to apply this Japan auto mechanic TITP model to the caregiver industry. Gramishika, Nujahan, and myself is considering start this caregiver project like a Japan auto mechanic. So finally, please let me introduce my important partner, Duncan Power. Please stand up. Okay, thank you. He lived in the Dhaka for 5 years as a initial the principal of the school. Thank you, Duncan. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Hiroki-san. I just want to know as well, apart from the fact that we are talking about gaining inspiration from education and arts, what do you think tops it all when it comes to Japan Automatic? What's different about being a social business within the industry as a social business? What is that unique thing about being a social business in the auto mechanic industry?
Yeah. The automatic school is an educational institution, but we have to make money to run the school, right? Because it's a social business. Then I looked for many income sources, but so far the only income is school tuition from the students. But the Japanese, labor cost is quite high. So only the 50% covered by the tuition. So I'd like to know that another way. Maybe 4 days back, I visited the, principal of the Grameen Nursing School. She gave me some good advice. I can improve a little bit, I think.
Yeah, I think it's all about continuous improvement for sure. Yeah. Yes, please, I do invite the next speaker, Mr. Butts.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Professor Yunus and Lamia Morshed, for giving me the opportunity to work with you. My name is Bishwajit Ghosh. I'm the CEO of Rotary India Literacy Mission, which is the largest literacy organization in the Rotary network across the world. And what I want to present is a plan around business education. So if you go to the first slide. Why is social business education important for the youth today? I'll quote from a recent study done by British Council. It's a global study on social entrepreneurship. And what they talk about is social entrepreneurship is now a global movement. It says a movement of millions. And the survey that they did, they believe that roughly about 11 million social entrepreneurship organizations are there in the world. So roughly about, one social entrepreneurship organization for 1,000 people residing in the world. So that's huge. So it also means that there is a huge need for supporting the young people who want to come into this line of work. And that's also mentioned in this survey, that there's a need for a common understanding. And they've quoted Professor Yunus about that. They say that, the influence of Nobel Prize winner Professor Yunus means that his concept social business is popular in Bangladesh and many other countries. And therefore comes the huge responsibility which is there on social business practitioners like all of you and me. Let's look a bit more about the survey. Two things come out. Social entrepreneurship is very young business. Globally, it has really caught on. The average age is roughly about 14 to 15 years. And the people who are leading it are people like you. So it always talks about that the fear of the youth. And if you look at it's between 25 and 44 years, and Kenya, Indonesia. The leadership age is roughly about 20 to 25 years entrepreneurship. So a very structured approach has a huge responsibility. And today I'm going to talk about this plan, which I'm keen to work with all of you to develop and propagate social business globally through online mechanisms, because it's the only way we can reach millions of people across the world. So let's look at it. So what do you want to do? Online program and audience is twofold. One within the social business community, which is the 30 clubs, very wonderfully supported by Shajiv and his team. And as I represent Rotary, and Rotary has a huge population of youth who are called Rotary actors. These are the two target audiences that I am very keen to work on with your support. I'm also the partnership head of Global Rotary Economic and Community Development Action Group. So I do have access to a lot of people who are interested about social entrepreneurship in the Rotary world. So looking at a 6 months model where we look at theory and practical. I've been talking to quite a few people in the social business fraternity. I've extensively spoken with the 30 club members. I've been talking to Hans and Maria and others in Grameen Creative Lab, and of course my friends in Grameen Trust. Everybody is interested to help, and I think that's great. So talking about the program, so we have actually come up with a structure, nominations from young people who wants to learn about social business. It could be part of their internship of their colleges, etc. We may need to have some key support persons, people who can mentor on the ground, optional, but it really helps to get the experience of the more mature people and guide these younger people. Shortlist social business practitioners. So this is important. All of you are doing wonderful work across the world, and your work needs to be showcased to the youth of today, within the social business community and beyond. So as part of this program, we want to showcase your stories. That becomes the practical case studies, and people feel more empowered, inspired, inspiration teams today. Everybody can become a social business entrepreneur and do very meaningful work. And of course, a bit of a support system. So if this goes well, if the pilot goes well, we would, of course, give internship certifications, mentorship certifications, neuro impact assessment to understand how did it work. If it is positive, of course, make it a part of social business program globally throughout the year. And I'm sure we'll need all your support. So some of the partners I have worked with, of course, Center, Lamia and team has been very supportive, Zenith and others. The 30 Club, Shajib, your team has been fantastic. You have been very inspirational as well. The Grameen Trust team, who has been working with me for the last 1 year. The Grameen Creative Lab, last 1 month I have been having a lot of conversations. Maria, I need to catch up with you as well. And the career group, my friend Rotarian Manish Rajuri, I'll request him to just stand up so that people see. A big help and support. He runs a chain of colleges in Madhya Pradesh, the central part of India, and he has agreed to provide a complete support in terms of LMS system, teacher support, the professors who are part of the 30 Club and YSBC. So he's my partner in funding program in kind, not in cash. And this is how the plan looks like. With the input and design primarily from Unit Center and Grameen Creative Lab, the engagement of the 30 Club network and the Rotary Action Group for Community and Economic Development. There's a huge number of young Rotary actors across the world. We come to the output stage where we get the support of the career group. And of course, what is emerging is internship by large number of 30 Club members and Rotary actors, anything between 200 to 500 young people, and that many number of case studies emerging. The showcase of all the work, and it can be from every continent. We would like to do interviews, we would like to do recordings of webinars, share with the world what great work you are doing. So if you have not yet done something at this scale, it is just because we haven't put our mind on it. So sir, we create what we want, and inshallah, we'll do it. Thank you so much.
If I'm not mistaken. Yes. So I, I, I think it's
and since 4 years difficult times, meet new team of you are probably aware of it. Foundation, we are dedicated to elimination of, and with this, we try to make our humble contribution to social and economic development approach. How do we do that? As of we are working in and entrepreneurship. Connections, offers mentoring, and organizes events. And there's social with divestment and we see social business or social business globally. So all always this year social business design competitions, clubs, or the convention. The support of a